Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you all. And let's see if you can see you as well in the chat. It's the first time that we're actually using this. And we're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. So, and you should all be in the chat. So please use the chat and let us know that you are there and that we can see you. That would be great. Hello, everybody. And Julia is now walking next to me. This is the first time that Natasha, good to see ya. As well, this is now one of these rare occasions where Julia and I actually in the same room. Like normally we are in different places, so really great to see you here.
Yes.
Yeah, and not just on the screen.
Nice to be in the same room.
Cool. And yeah, there are a few people in the room already. Can we see that? Can you see it, Julia?
Who's here, people?
Click on this riverside, because this is where we see the people live theoretically.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, I have no idea. So we only see you live if you're actually communicating with us. We know that you're there. Mark, much the new business name is the new hat. Yes, there is actually a story to it. We're not talking about that today, but there is a reason. There's a Passivhaus reason for it. That I will make a new post about it in the future. But then I have to show all the equipment that is from my hiking and Passivhaus reasons why I'm wearing them in summer as in winter. But as well, it's a little bit the new look of Smart Plus Academy. It means I don't have to cut my hair and can always look more or less the same. So that's as well one of the reasons. Okay, great. So today we have people here that are probably some alumni, some that are already enrolled, and some people that probably want to enroll and think about, is this the right place? Are we the right people for you? Who knows? And if Passivhaus is right for you, like maybe you say, I like these guys, but I'm not so sure about Passivhaus. So
could be
exactly
the question. Hopefully we'll clarify all that today. Hey,
we will try to get on top of that. For this, we will first, so if you have questions, you can always put them into the chat. We see them, and then we will answer them while we even going through the presentation. And then after the presentation, we can then as well go into all the other questions and additional informations that we have. And then as well, we could theoretically get you into the live stream, theoretically. Let's see if we do that or not. We've never done this. It's the first time that we're doing this live and with an audience. So let's see how that works. Like normally you use Zoom, but Zoom, the quality is not good. So advanced, if I just want it already. But okay, let's see. Okay, cool. So let's jump into the presentation. That is a presentation that is actually should give you confidence of choosing Passivhaus, and as well should give you confident that you can actually pass it with us, because the work we've put in, it's definitely working. So that's the reason we're showing you that as well. So let me share now my screen, entire screen. So let me know if you can see it. So yes, so now we are live. So you see the presentation, and you see us still in this little screen next to us. And Julia is live in the chat. So when you see her not looking into this camera, then she's over here writing into the chat. So okay, cool. So let's go into this presentation, Passivhaus Certified in Confidence, because this is what we want to make sure, because obviously investing $5,000 is not a small investment, but money is always something we can get more. The thing we can't get more of is time. Like if you're now spending 80 hours on a course like this, you obviously want to know that the course, first of all, is good, and that as well, you're getting some benefits out of it, and that you can actually maybe enhance your career. So that's the reason for that. Okay, let's jump in. As well, if you want to have a phone call with us, if you want to have a call, just put your email address into the chat, and then Julia will send you an email while we're having this presentation, and we will go into, we will have you can choose a spot, we talk about it, and then in that event, we can then find out if we can help you in a specific way. Cool. Then let's jump in. Okay. Obviously I need to go here. Okay, that's me, Daniel. I'm the speaker. I unfortunately haven't updated Julia in here as well. I'm a certified professional and structural engineer. I'm a carpenter by trade, an EU researcher, so was a researcher for the European Union. And I'm working in sustainable and high-performing buildings for over 25 years and supported Passivhaus projects around the world. And I've trained, or we trained together already over 1,000 professionals. Actually, we're now at 1,200. So that's definitely this. And expert in building physics, building science, and prefab. So we're bringing all these things, the foundation that we need. I'm bringing that onto the table, and then the future of construction as well, that I believe is prefabrication. So I'm bringing that all together. Plus Julia.
Yes.
Julia with her architectural degree, best student I ever had here in Perth, and really driven.
And already 5 years ago that we did the course, and sort of felt like a natural progression to come from my architecture career back to my roots, Passivhaus, because I'm also, like, as you can probably hear from my accent, also from Germany, and Passivhaus is a bit bigger there, and sort of felt natural to come back, and really happy to do what I'm doing.
And yes, we already see the difference between us. I'm the crazy dude, the crazy professor, and Julia is the calm and the controlled one that is the perfect teacher to get you actually to the aim. I'm the one that gets you motivated, that gives you the drive, that inspires you, and Julia makes sure that you're actually achieving what I'm inspiring you to do. Cool. That's our combination.
Yes, exactly.
So then we have that question: what if it is possible to increase what if it is possible to increase the profitability, win awards, and attract higher quality clients? Yes. Would that be possible? Often what we see is that the belief is clients won't pay extra for sustainable design. So that's something we want to clarify today. Is that the case, or do they actually have to pay more? Maybe not. Maybe they have to. We'll find that out today as well. So, but first, I wanted to show you that Passivhaus can be your solution for building design. So for this, we want to go into laser. So we have the clear defined outcome in Passivhaus. So we are designing for the human health. So it's human focused design, human centric design. That's what Passivhaus is about. So we focus highly on the occupant health, the unmatched comfort that Passivhaus is giving you, and then obviously as well the outstanding energy efficiency. So we are doing something good for the people that are in these structures that we are designing and building, but as well we're doing something good for the environment, because we can drop the energy consumption massively over the lifetime of the building compared to a conventional build. Then the benefits for the architects is high fees and profitability. Winning awards, I'll show you as well that later again. You saw it already in the email, but if you haven't seen that, I'm going through that again. And then premium clients attract that is a satisfaction for you and for them, because they value quality. You probably notice time waster clients that are just a nightmare. And then market advantage, stand out from the crowd, stay above the standard, and not having to change every single time when the standard is changing, because you're already ahead with your design practices. So you always fulfill the standard from a performance perspective, from an knowledge perspective. And then if there's small things you need to adjust, then it's not so bad. But if you now need to move from a 5-star to a 6-star to a 7-star to an 8-star, then you always have to do this minor adjustment. Here, you're learning it properly, doing it right, and then you don't have to do these jumps. Good. Then we have a really clear outcome. Passivhaus has a clear outcome defined. It's a comfort zone, 20 to 25 degrees, and then as well our 30 to 60% relative humidity. And then we have as well the health environment. You want to jump in?
No, it's all good.
Okay.
Good. I'm just reading here the comments.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then here we want to make sure that on no surface we're having a relative humidity above 80%, because then we're getting mold, and we're making sure that our air quality is below 1,000 parts per million of CO2, because that's from a health perspective better, but as well CO2 is an indicator of the quality of indoor air, not just the CO2. It as well tells you odors and all the other things. But yeah, going a bit far here. Then we have a really clear energy target that we are allowed to use. So this is the outcome that we want to achieve. And now we come to the energy that we are allowed to use for this. And for the heating, we have the 15 kilowatt hours per square meter. As this is now a bit difficult to understand, it would be 300 liters of petrol per 200 square meter if you speak about the delivered energy. And on the cooling, we have exactly the same. So in total, theoretically, if you're not using any technology, then we would need 600 liters of petrol per square meter to run a passive house. However, we have technology like heat pumps that we can do that better. And yeah, go into that a little bit more in a second. And then the building requirements are suitable for harsh and mild climates. In harsh climates, we need thicker buildups, and in mild climates, we need thinner buildups. In other words, we always have the same energy demand, we have always the same outcome, but the environment that we're building is now determining how we actually have to build, plus your design decisions. If you're building extremely complex or like not compact, so in other words, a U shape, or an S shape, even worse, then you're creating so much external wall for such a small internal usable space that your performance of your walls need to go up massively. Yeah. So what does this actually mean? Let's put that a little bit into real numbers. So when we say now we're using a heat pump, and we need the 600 kilowatt hours per square meter a year for our 200 square meter home, then at the end, we need 200 liters of petrol with a heat pump. So that's the energy now delivered to the house, the kilowatt hours we deliver to the house in equivalent petrol here. That is the 200 liters of petrol per annum. In other words, you would need to equivalent run every quarter once to the petrol station to refill your house. Theoretically, you're not running to the petrol station, and then that's all what you need. So imagine all the time when you're having a bill, every quarter it's the same than when you're going with your car to the petrol station. Every quarter once as the maximum energy consumption. Simplified, it's 1 liter of petrol per square meter. So your $1.70 of petrol costs, if that is your petrol costs, or if that is your energy cost in your house, it's obviously not, but that would be your cost per square meter.
But Daniel, so it doesn't mean that we're running our passive house on petrol, right?
No, we don't. No, we're not running it on petrol. Like petrol is just an equivalent, because it's something I guess everybody here is driving. Everybody has seen the prices on the petrol station. Everybody knows how much petrol they're needing.
Easier to understand.
Exactly. So we want to use metaphors. We want to use like pictures so that you can understand what we're talking about, because it makes no sense if you just understand it intellectually. You need to as well understand it from an emotional perspective, because otherwise you're not remembering it. And that's what we are trying to do with our training. It's more than just teaching you and giving you the facts. We're giving you as well ways to embody the understanding even more. So that's at least the idea. Okay, so now let's go back to Passivhaus. What is Passivhaus? We call it the Passivhaus components, because they're components, they're physical things that you can touch. Principles is just something to build to. For me, the principles would more be like the 15 kilowatt hours and the 20 to 25 degrees of our thermal range. But the components for me is like the super insulation. So you have your insulation in the walls so that you definitely have comfort. Then the airtight construction, that you have 0.6 air exchanges at a pressure difference of 50 Pascal. What does this mean? 50 Pascal pressure difference means when you have a wind where the small branches start moving. Yeah, that's about 50 Pascal, or per square meter, 5 kilos of force that you have to pull. So if you have now a window that is a square meter big and you open that and you have the feeling under the condition that two windows are open, one on the one side and one on the other side of the house, and now you open that window and you have that force that is often more than 5 kilos, that's actually that 50 Pascals pressure difference, simplified. Yeah, then thermal bridge free, no gaps in the heating envelope. So in other words, when you're going skiing, you wouldn't leave your gloves off. You're putting on your gloves as well. So you don't leave these thermal bridges like a glove, like your goggles, depending how extreme you go for skiing in that example. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then high performing windows so that they are suitable for your location. In other words, sometimes it's triple glazing, sometimes it's double glazing, sometimes it's more than triple glazing, but theoretically it would even be possible with single glazing, but not in Australia. Next to the equator where the temperature is not moving, then we could get away with a single glazing, but I would never go single glazing, would always go double glazing as well from a noise perspective, not just from a thermal perspective. Yeah. And then ventilation with heat recovery. That's what we're doing as well. So we are ventilating the building with a mechanical force 24/7. And with this, we're making sure that the buildings perform properly at every time of the day, every time of the year, 24/7. So that's the idea that we're doing here. And natural forces wouldn't be sufficient for that. So now let's look, what are the benefits of Passivhaus? So that's the standard, but what's the benefit now to the client? Yeah, so we know that Passivhaus costs money because in the moment nobody's using double glazing, nobody's using air tightness or heat recovery. So that is costing an additional of 5 to 15%, or in other words, about $500 a square meter if the design is compact enough. So 500 is possible. However, if you're having an S-shaped building, then 500 would not be possible because the thickness of insulation you need will be far more. But if it's a normal, well-designed house that you keep compactness a little bit in mind, 500 is easy. This is already including the builder's margin theoretically. So in other words, a 200 square meter home would be an additional $100,000 of an investment.
That seems like quite a lot, right? But
yeah, so like $100,000 more on a 200 square meter home, like the $500 is obviously money. But when you now compare it to the increased value of the building, we know that the minimum increase is normally 15%. Yeah, that's based on the study of domain.com, you know, domain, where you can buy houses and where you can rent and all that, domain.com.au. And they are having every year a sustainability study. And in that study, they're telling us it's 15% in average. But if you're in an urban area like Melbourne or Sydney, then it's even 30%. So
no brainer, hey?
No brainer. So you put 15 in and you get 30 out. Yeah, in the worst case, like in the worst case of your costing and your best case of your increased value, you're already making a profit. If you're going for the worst, like the best case of 5% additional cost and 14 or 15%, then you have again you have like 3 times the thing. So you normally have a return of investment immediately because the value of the house goes up. It's a better house. You're getting it better. However,
can I interrupt you again for a second? Because there was a really interesting question here on the chat, is if this would be the same rate for a double-story home. So this is now interesting question, whether that makes a difference.
Double is actually at the end more cost effective than single. And that's something that nobody gets yet. And it's like, think about it. If you go double story, you need only half of the roof, and half of the foundation to build the house. So you're saving half of your roof and half of your foundation. So you're already saving there. Additionally, because your whole footprint of your house is smaller, your land is getting smaller as well. So you could actually save 50% of your land cost. So double story is always more cost effective if you're really looking at the numbers. And the additional cost for scaffolding, and for maybe moving up some material to an upper floor is not in comparison to the savings of your land cost, your roofing material, and your foundations. Far more cost effective. Yeah, definitely.
Makes the building more compact and more energy efficient as well.
Yes. So as well, the compactness goes up. So it means it's more compact. That means I can get away with thinner insulation, because that separating floor level that we're having in there, that costs less than a roof, obviously. This is now the area that has been external before on the roof and as well on the foundation, but there is no energy going through any longer. It's in the thermal envelope. So we have reduced our horizontal energy losses to the top and to the bottom by 50%. That means everything else can be done cheaper. Maybe I'm going too far, but that's how it works. Cool. Then, so this is now just normal financing, normal looking at the numbers, but it gets even better if you're going for a green loan investment. So because Passivhaus is a green investment and the banks have an interest in giving you a green loan, by that, the interest rate goes down, and in the best case, it's an improvement of 25%. But let's go to the next slide, because here we're going a little bit more detail in that. So if, for example, you have, that's now in the year 2022, now it's looking slightly different, but at the end, it's a similar situation. So what we have, if you had a client that was able to borrow $1 million, and after 14 months is only able to borrow $717,000 because of the increase of the interest rate. The interest rate goes up. That means the borrowing capacity goes down of the client. And that means that the project that was costing $1 million before is not able to come through any longer. And that's the reason you have been losing so many clients after the pandemic. Like if you're already in your career for longer, you've seen that you were losing a lot of clients because they were not able to finance any longer the project because they couldn't borrow the same amount again. And on the other hand, all the material costs went up as well. So the builder was charging more as well. So you were actually losing from both sides. The builder got more expensive and the client could borrow less. However, with Passivhaus, we can get a reduction theoretically of up to 2.6% from a normal loan. 2.6% is massive, and that can actually then change your $1 million that is down at 700,000 up to 900,000. So you're actually getting an increase of nearly 30%, like 27%. Yeah, you're 27% here, and then if you're having an investment of 15%. And you have $100,000 investment for your Passivhaus, you still have your $95,000 or another $100,000 for other things that got more expensive by the builder. This is just an example. I must say this is rather on the positive side, like more on the optimistic side. I would rather say cut it in half, but then it would mean it covers your Passivhaus costs. Wouldn't then cover the costs of the additional costs that came because of price increases, but it would at least cover the Passivhaus costs, and the value of the property goes up. And by that, they are making directly money, and they have not a higher financial burden, but that's now going a bit too far today.
We've got a whole 3-hour presentation on this, so if anyone's interested, I think that would be the right thing to look into.
So we have a 3-hour presentation of how that actually works. With CBD points. So if you need still CBD points, that's definitely one to look at.
Yeah, let us know. Send us your interest in the chat, and we can then send you an email afterwards.
Yeah, and again, put in, DM me or contact me and put in the email address, and then we can find you, because maybe we don't find you if you just have your first name here. And then we will send you all the information you need. Yeah, cool. Then now we look to the designer return of investment. So what is your benefit of going for Passivhaus? Because it's good when your clients are winning, but you want to win as well. So let us look now at how a designer can win in this. So here we know the additional cost is the $500 per square meter. And the Passivhaus design costs is actually between $100 and $175 per square meter that are going into the designer's fee. Yeah, including in there is the certification, the designer work, the blow-door testing, and the ventilation commissioning. All of that I'm putting into design because it's not normal construction fees, and all of that you can do except the certification. That would be the certifier. You would have to do a few projects before you can become a certifier. But at the end, this is an additional 30%, like 30% of this Passivhaus costs are actually design fees. So you know you're normally having an additional, so 30%, that means for a 200 square meter home, it's between $20,000 and $35,000 additional. And the course costs you $5,000. So that means you have a quarter of the cost of your additional fee of just one project. Or in other words, you have a return of investment of 4 times your investment to 7 times your investment. Yeah, from 4 to 7 times. This is an investment of 2 weeks of commitment, 80 hours over 2 months, not full 2 weeks. That was back in the day. That was a bit stressful, but now we can actually do that over a longer time frame. Then, yeah.
Yeah, the question is here, where do you get those figures from?
Which
Someone
figures?
was asking. I'm guessing those ones here that you're explaining, that you can add the $100 to $175 per square meter to your fees.
So again, that comes to that 3-hour presentation that I put together. I've took a Passivhaus project and I've went into the costing of it, and I went through all the costing of the whole project in detail. I was getting prices. Actually, the windows for that project was less than 500, like even 450, I think it was, less than $500 a square meter for a window. Passivhaus quality, all this rubbish that you have to spend $1,200 for Passivhaus windows is not correct. Yeah, you get them cheaper. If you're in Sydney, Kinsale Industry, written with a K, Kinsale and a Z, Kinsale Industries. They're a window manufacturer in Sydney. They're the ones that I got it from. They have grown from 1 manufacturing line to 3 manufacturing line. The last time I talked to them 2 or 3 years ago, like when I did the pricing in 2022, and he is now definitely grown again. His problem is he's not finding enough people that can install the windows. That's his problem. He could produce more, but he needs more people that can actually do the work. Again, for tradies, theoretically, exactly. That's the problem here.
So Mark was clarifying the 20 to 35,000. That's just a multiplication, isn't it?
That's a multiplication. So if you take a 200 square meter home with $500 a square meter, and you're taking the 30% of additional fees, then you're at 20 to 35 additional investment. In there would be now 5,000 for the certification, 5 to 8 depending on the complexity on the project, and if you have done the course or not done the course, and if they know you. So the certifier is putting as well prices up if they don't know you, and if they have the feeling you don't know much about Passivhaus, because then they have to do more work. If they know you, they trust you, then the price goes down. And then you have in there blow-door testing. That's another 1,000, 1,500. And the commissioning of your ventilation system is another 1,000, 1,500. So if you say you take 10,000 off that, then it's 10 to 25, but still, like, it's massive. Yeah.
I don't know any designers or consultants getting near that money. So
yeah, then then you haven't spoken to the right designers at the end. This is where you're at. Yeah, like a 200 square meter home is on the design phase with all the design work. You're coming to that numbers. Yeah. If this wouldn't be the case, then Passivhaus wouldn't be that expensive. Like the additional investment for Passivhaus is a third is Passivhaus. is the design in the passive house, because the economics happen in design phase. Look to the car industry. In the car industry, they're spending 5 billion to create a new model, and then they produce it millions of times and sell it to you for $35,000. So the building industry is not doing that yet. And our planning, like, not that we're spending not enough time on planning, but optimizing our design, make it more economical and looking how we can improve it. What the PHP, the passive house planning package, is perfect for. Like, I had yesterday a conversation with a guy, a client. He is actually putting so much insulation in the roof that he can reduce it by 200 millimeter. Yeah, so he has, I think, an R9 or something like in there right now in purse, so total overkill. And he can now reduce that to an R4.5, and the performance of the house is not changing. Yeah, so with the PHP, the designer was now able to say, hey, mate, you can take here 200 millimeters of your insulation out. You don't need to spend that money, and you still get the performance. Yeah, so that's the PHP is an economical optimization tool, and if it's done right, then you're getting this cost optimized designs. There's not been one project that I looked at with a PHP that was able to save $10,000 for the client. Up to 180,000. That was the biggest now. Like, that was able.
That was also a big project.
Was a big project, yeah. But yeah, that was the school project in Sydney. And they had thermal insulation underneath the slab, and they had shading devices on one side and a huge air conditioning system. And we were able to get rid of the insulation underneath the slab, get rid of the shading devices on 2 facades, and we could reduce the conditioning system by 50%. And that was $180,000 savings. Yeah, but I'm not doing any consulting any longer. Don't come to me. I'm doing teaching. I want you to do it. Yeah, I do a consulting with you so that you can do it, but I will not do consulting directly. And if you do a consulting, then it's always in a team session that everybody can learn, because everybody has the same questions. Everybody has the same issues. And this is what we want to do with our alumni, that we actually start really next year with doing maybe even weekly sessions where we somebody comes with a problem, we discuss it for an hour, and then everybody learns from it. So that's what is happening after the course for us. Yeah, cool. Then case studies, because Passivhaus is expensive, always the same. Yeah, it is not. Yeah, so here an example from the US. Let's go on. Passivhaus is expensive. So we have here a project in the US where they have $165 per square foot. That is lower than the average of 175 to 200. So in other words, the Passivhaus was far cheaper than the conventional building, and that's the building. Then here, that's in Ireland. A 290 square meter house has been calculated once with Passivhaus and once as conventional. And at the end, the Passivhaus was $20,000 cheaper than the conventional. Having here this concrete sill underneath my high-performing window and this metal strip so far out. If you have done the course, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then using builder's foam for your building, forming it in. So there are all little things that I would be a bit...
maybe not ideal.
Not ideal, yeah. Yes. Because your thermal insulation, except this is not concrete, it's a form that happens, like it's possible, but that looks to me pretty concrete wise, and that's your thermal insulation here. But anyway, that's Ireland. Then Nepal was able to cut the cost by 50% by going straw bale. Low cost material plus low cost labor was making it possible to cut it by 50%. And for me, that's one of the projects that's really at my heart. That's what I want to achieve, because people keep dying throwing heat waves because the temperature in the houses are going too crazy. And we can avoid that by building better houses, by better thermally insulated houses. That's the reason for me. I really would like to have a project or like a movement that I would like to start with third world countries, passive house designs. How can we do it? What is the best and most economical way to achieve it? But yeah, that's the reason it's in here. And then passive houses are more cost effective. When I'm looking at projects that I have, or like people I've trained, people I've worked with, and builder in Ireland. I was always getting stomach aches when I was actually helping him to actually achieve it, because he was so far off the mark. Unbelievable. But 7 years later, he was able to deliver Passivhaus 10% cheaper than conventional homes, to like by just improving and working with a proper team between designers and builders. And now he's just doing Passivhaus 10% cheaper than conventional, and that's what he's doing. Then a builder at a prefab factory specializing cost-effective homes. Okay, that's him. Then in Darmstadt, an architect, Germany, where the Passivhaus movement has started, maybe has as well something to do with it. But this architect is designing residential affordable housing, like big apartment blocks and stuff like that. All of them are Passivhaus, and he is as well designing 10% cheaper, or like they're finished 10% cheaper than conventional homes. And then we have that proven. We know that it works, and we see that especially big projects becoming in Europe more and more Passivhauses, because they're more cost effective, because the system of Passivhaus gets you in a more economical way of building automatically. But the question is, what is with Australia? Where are we in Australia? In Australia, we have this Woodside building in Monash, where we actually achieved already the same cost than conventional builds. Yeah, so it is already possible in Australia. The cheapest, but that was owner builder, was 18,500 in Canberra. That was a school, like
1,850.
1,850. Yeah. 1,850 for a school, like a early
learning
center. Yeah. Then here in Perth, I know of multiple projects for 2,200. I know in Melbourne, similar prices. So it's not that it's not possible. Obviously now after the pandemic, the prices are going up a little bit. And as well, we're having this situation that builders are pricing. They do their estimation, and then they put 50% on top and say, now it's Passivhaus. And that's not the way. That's not the way. And it's just because there's too much. There's a higher demand than supply, and that's the reason why people can do that. So we need more trained people, that this is getting reasonable again. Then winning awards, as you have seen in the email already. In the year 2022, we had 6 of the sustainability awards of the architects being Passivhauses. There were less than 20 Passivhauses submitted of the over 250 submitted projects. So if you want to win awards, then you're definitely with Passivhaus on the good side. Cool. So that was the Passivhaus thing. Was there any other questions regarding this?
No, I think we're all good.
Okay.
Yeah, for now.
And now let's go into the Passivhaus Hub. Why us? Why choose us? Why choose our team? You want to go through this? Or?
Yeah, okay, I can. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, why choose Passivhaus Hub? So we have flexible self-paced learning. So what we want with this is that everyone can learn in their own time and their own pace, because we know that, time is precious. Previously, when we had the live courses, you had to take time off work. This is not the case anymore. You can do it in your own time. We have 48 small bite-sized lessons. They are all at around 20 minutes, where you can say, okay, I've got now 20 minutes, maybe on my drive to work, or while I wait for something. And it's really easy to sort of digest that. Then we have an AI tutor that's relatively new, which is really cool. AI tutor available 24/7. So this means instant judgment-free support. Not that you would get any judgment from me or from Daniel anyway. There are no stupid questions, so please ask them also now. If you have any questions, please ask them. But the AI tutor is so good, because you can just type it in and they will give you the answer. It is it speaks our language. It's in our voice, and it also knows our material, so it can give you additional information. We have lots of resources. So download our formula sheet. It has helped all our students to go through this course and go through the exam, and also to after the course, you can always refer back to it. So you will see it's a really cool tool to have. We have build-ups, details, all these little things that will help you along the way. When you sign up with us, you have a full 12 months access to our whole course and updates. So there's no hidden fees, zero stress. So if you're going for our package, everything is included. And it's not just the material, it's also the exam prep, the exam, and up to 3 exam attempts. That's our certification guarantee. No one ever needed 3 attempts. We had some that needed 2, but this is our guarantee for you, because we know that our system works. We have so much experience, and we're helping every student through that process. Then we also do alumni support. So after you finished, obviously, that's when your real learning starts, that when you're sort of pushed out into the real world. So you want some support. So we have that as well. We have little groups where you can chat amongst each other. So people that are in your same mind space, head space, with the same motivation, but also with us. And we have some other growth opportunities. We want to do marketing and sales partnerships. That's sort of coming up. I think Daniel might talk about that a little bit later as well. We are a recognized industry leader, Best Passivhaus Training Provider 2022 from the Build magazine. So as you can see, we're very passionate about this and how we deliver it to our students.
Okay, and then we as well have students that have tried it somewhere else, and they're letting us know that we are 5 billion times better. And that all happened last week. Two people that we spoke to only in that 2 weeks window, not talking about all the others, that were telling us, guys, your material is so much better. So there's definitely a quality difference. Our focus is education. That's what we do. It's not a side gig for us. We are doing that full time. We have spent I've spent the last 7 years, you're the last 5 years, on optimizing this course, getting it across, and making sure that you win and that you can actually use what you're actually learning here. And as well, our reviews on Google and everywhere, you will see that's what people tell us. Okay.
Cool. Good. Practical, I just have to see what the next slide is here. Practical benefits and outcomes. So we have here your investment. So that's your price for the package, for the designer package. That's currently even below $5,000. So you will see that a bit later. Then your time commitment is about 2 weeks, so 80 hours, but you could do that in any time frame that you want. So we typically do it with Q&A sessions where we stretch it over a 6-week time period, which seems to work really well for a lot of people, because then it's around 10 hours per week, which is quite manageable alongside a full-time job. And then we come together once a week where I'm there live and Daniel sometimes there live, where we really just discuss, get to know each other. And I really love getting to know the students and getting to know you and what your background is. And we can discuss projects or something that you send in.
So it's actually 6 weeks of Q&A, but with the welcome session a week earlier and the exam afterward, it's exactly this 8 weeks. And then we're coming to that 10 hours a week. In other words, a long day, or like 1.5 hours every single day, or on the weekend, twice 5 hours. So it's like, but you choose, you decide how you go through that. And that's optimistic. Like, people don't necessarily need, I say take the 80 hours, definitely, but sometimes people are able to do it slower, faster, sorry.
Yeah, I think the 80 hours also includes that you're doing your homework and exercises. Exactly. So we do prepare you from the beginning for the exam. So we're going through the material, and after every module, we have homework and exercise to really hone in that knowledge. Makes it a lot easier at the end to go into that exam, because you don't have to listen to everything. And then at the exam, you go, what was that in the first module that I listened to 6 weeks ago? U-value, I don't remember, but you have that already, that experience, that training makes it a lot easier at the end. And then,
so like at the end, we have about 35 hours of recordings. So that means like 50% more or less that is actually listening, and 50% put it into action and checking yourself and making that all together. So it's like, it is designed for success. So it's definitely working. And then, yes, like we had that question at the beginning, is it possible to build better to a similar price? Yes, Passivhaus enables us to design healthier homes your clients love and gladly pay premium fees for it. So it works. We see it. We know it is possible. now to our little bonuses and gifts that are coming up for the people that have made it so far. So we have a little gift for you. So in the case you're still here and you want to enroll now, you can use this discount code HUB25 Passive on our website for the next 24 hours. So we'll be gone in 24 hours. Or as well, book a call with us. Just let us know that you want to book a call so that we can send you the link. And then we discuss it with you. If you rather have a call first, you're not losing that $200 discount right now. So that's definitely something that you still get. So if you rather talk to us first, have a meeting with us, discuss it, you're still able to get that $200 as a discount, even if it's not in the next 24 hours. I will be there tomorrow as well on Saturday, so it's Friday and Saturday, so you can book into that calendar. And then next week, Julia is still there, I think, on Monday, and then Thursday. And by then, the times are closed, I think. Yeah. Cool. So I hope that was all good. And even if you say, no, I don't do anything, I'm not ready yet, you still can get a little gift from me where you're getting the Passivhaus 101 course for free. Just let us know, 101, put it in the chat, and you are sending that through to you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And we leave the chat open so that you can actually still send us messages right now. Yeah, yes, send that as well. Yeah.
The link.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Nur noch Q&A. With every code is golden fine. Build better, let's rise together. Step by step, we're changing forever. Leave a mark that stands so bright. Every day and every night.
Thank you, everybody. So are there any more questions? Does somebody want to get into the session and talk to us right now? That would be possible as well. I think there's an option for you to join the session now where you can actually say, yeah, drop in, and we then get a pop-up on our end that is telling us that you want to join.
Yes, we can see the questions. So firstly, I want to say I've dropped in a link, which is our that's the link to the course where you can then also enter the that discount code in that Daniel has given you before. And the question that Natasha has said is, do we provide some sort of graduation program where you can do your first real-life project on Passivhaus after getting the certification? So is there, I'm guessing she's asking if there's support afterwards for the first project.
Not project specific, but we are having these communities where we, you put it in there already?
No, I don't know why it comes double when you put it in.
Okay, so maybe I'm double as important, who knows? So we're having these sessions where people can come in. So that happens beginning of next year, where people come in and we're discussing it then and go through the problems that people have, because everybody has the same problems. Like over the last 7 years, I would say there's not more than 25 problems, and probably of that 25, 5, maybe 7 or so are the ones that are 80% of the problems. So I want to start it again because everybody can learn, so they don't even come to that problem. That's what I want, that you don't even run into these troubles, like forgetting the thermal insulation around the parameter of your slab. That happened before. Then how to size your ventilation system, how to size your air conditioning system, how to detail your thermal bridge-free roof detailing. All that stuff is there, and we're as well recording that. So there will be an alumni course in the future where we're putting that in as well. So that is like behind a paywall at the end, so that you can have access, not everybody else. So there's free stuff, there's hidden stuff, but we don't want to disturb you during the course. So during the course, we definitely want you just to focus on that, because that's giving you the highest chance to succeed. And then after the course, we jump into the more details. Yeah, the calendar link.
And our email address, just in case someone wants to contact us later. So it's contact. Yeah,
easy.
Exactly. Perfect. So if you want to contact us later, so some of you have provided their email address, but if you're thinking about this and after we finished, you think, maybe I should have said them, then just send us an email to this email address. We'll be on the other side and answering your questions, or book a call, as Daniel said before. I think that might be easy as well. Then we can talk about your specific questions. Might be a little bit easier on the call. But yeah, any way that you want to contact us is fine.
Yes. Yeah. And if you're not getting Julia or me, then you probably get Aiden, our AI assistant that is there verbally and as well on the live chat. So if you're chatting on our website, you're getting Aiden, A-I-D-M, Aiden. And then we're reading these responses and looking through that, and then we're coming back to you as well with the phone call that's recorded, so we can then look at it again and see what was discussed, and then come back to you and give you more guidance if he is not always getting it right. Yeah, so then we're still there to help. Cool. Thank you, everybody. I wish you an amazing start into your Passivhaus journey, or continuing of your Passivhaus journey. Some of you are already enrolled. Or maybe already finished. So yes, it's definitely the future of constructions. It's the foundation of construction that we need to do if you want to make it possible to live sustainably in a nature that we still like, nature like we know it right now, so that our generation after us is only living in a desert and extreme weather events where always something's flying around. So yeah. Thanks, everybody. It was good having you. And if you missed it, you still have an event at 6 p.m. tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can still join for that session or come again. Or if you have questions that are coming up in that next, what is it? Few hours, then you can still come to the next session and ask them there again. Thank you, everybody.
Right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.